Hey, everybody, it's me, your brother, your friend Chester, and we are getting ready to start the show. Anybody excited tonight? If you haven't already, if you don't know, I'm Cheston D. Green. I'm your brother, your friend, your nephew, your cousin. And listen, I have a show called ID Talks where we talk about all things identity. So let's just jump into it. Um, Tonight, I'm very, very excited. I have a special friend um, coming on the show who is an incredible, remarkable artist, and I'm really, really excited for you guys to hear her. So usually I would like play some music and all that good jazz, but we're gonna kind of just jump right into it. Um, so before I introduce my guest, I wanna read something to you. Um, I do this every week. We have what we call the Creatives Corner. So today's Creative Corner is called Chin Down. Tell your neighbor, say neighbor. You're not speaking loud enough. Your neighbor can't. You say neighbor, chin down. Okay. So the other week I was working out with my trainer, and as we were doing deadlifts, she kept telling me to put my chin down. So after a bit of research in the last few days, I found out that poking out your chin or your head can cause injuries. But when you tuck your chin, proper alignment occurs for effective lifting of heavy weights. So my question to you is, has life been heavy lately? Are you having to lift more than you're used to or more than you have before? If so, tuck your chin. Tucking your chin helps you focus on the weight. Approach it with intentionality. Don't look around, but zero in on the task at hand for maximum muscle growth because we can't avoid growing pains. Embrace the difficult and move forward. So I just want to encourage you, if you're in a rough spot, put your chin down. Don't stress it. Again, I'm your friend, your brother, your cousin, your uncle's son. Well, I'm the son of only two people, and your favorite artist, Cheston Green. And welcome to my show, ID Talks. And this is a place where we talk to believers to discuss purpose, calling, and identity. And all of these believers are creatives in some nature, some form. So I'm going to read my friend Maya's bio. So Maya Elizabeth was raised in Baltimore, Maryland, and is a professional recording artist and singer-songwriter of inspirational soul music that soothes and inspires listeners across the globe. Her soulful sound resonates with those finding their voices, healing emotionally, wrestling with anxiety, finding their purpose, and growing a sense of self-worth. Maya began songwriting at age 6 and has been singing slash worship leading since she was 11. In 2016, Maya graduated summa cum laude with her BBA in marketing from Howard University, HU in the house. She was the School of Business valedictorian. While she while she excelled as a business student, music was always how she planned to make an impact. She even performed her first single, Come Ye, at the commencement ceremony. Shortly after, she released a debut album called Silhouette, This Is Me. In 2021, she released an EP called Space to Feel. If you all have not heard Space to Feel, please go listen to it. With the accompanying candle, journal, and music commentary podcast. Her latest single, It's Okay to Be Falling, released this year. Whether recording a project in the studio, worship leading in a variety of churches, or performing around the world, her mission is the same: to create space for folks to experience healing, truth, and love. You guys, without further ado, my friend Maya Elizabeth.
Hi everyone. Hey
Hey, Maya.
Cheston, how are you?
Listen, I can't hear you,
You
but
cannot. Let's see.
let's see. Do you see a mute button on the screen?
Yep, I unmuted. You still can't hear me? Let's see.
And while
And your
she's doing
volume
that,
button?
I'm gonna play It's Okay to Be Falling. Oh, wait a minute. It may be my headphones.
Is it?
Come on. Technology be doing what it want to do. Okay. Can you hear me, Maya?
I can hear you, yeah.
There we go. I can hear you now. Okay. I
Okay,
think my
great.
head to my phone. Oh gosh. So Maya, thank you for being on the show tonight. I'm really, really
Thank you
excited.
for having me.
Of course, of course. There are not a lot of people in I've not experienced a lot of people in the Baltimore area or the greater
Mhm.
DMV area as of yet who have this tenacious yet easygoing approach to music and to mental health and to spiritual health. And so I think it's going to be an incredible conversation today. So every show, I start with the icebreaker. And for those who are new to my show, the icebreaker is a playlist, and this playlist is on both Spotify and Apple Music. So if you want to hear this playlist, you can go to my Instagram, Cheston D Green, and you can go to the link tree that's in my bio. You go there, you'll see the Apple Music link, and you will see the Spotify link so that you can hear this playlist. So, Maya, I have a question, and your answer will be added to the playlist. So, my
All
question is,
right.
what song that you listen to that gets your creative juices flowing or encourages you to keep going when you're feeling frustrated?
Mm,
And
that's a
it could
good
be
question.
any song, and of course, I put
Okay.
the version up, but any genre, any song.
So that gets my creative juices flowing or inspires me to keep going.
Yep.
Hmm. It honestly depends on my mood, but I
Okay.
think um sometimes what inspires me is just going back to albums that I loved growing up or artists that I loved growing up. Most recently, I was listening again to Corinne Bailey Ray album with,
Okay.
Put Your Records On and Like a Star and all of her like super popular classics. I listened to that album growing up like I don't know how many times. I think we were on a family vacation and bought it out of a Starbucks on one of our stops. And
Mm,
that's when I first, started listening to her, but I think what I love still about her sound and, that album in particular is that, it just kind of felt like home to me. There were few
mm.
artists who just feel very much like, "Oh, like, I feel a sense of belonging," or I feel a sense of, um, almost affirmation with my own sound and my own vibe
That is so dope. Would you say there's one song in particular is your go-to?
on that entire album or
Mhm.
in general.
Either one.
Ooh, okay. That's so difficult to choose. Uh, just for the heck of it, let's pick, uh, Butterfly. Why not?
Okay. All right, so guys, Butterfly will be added to the playlist on both playlists, so you can listen to it whether you like Apple Music or Spotify as for your listening needs. Maya, it's so funny that you say that and you talk about her sounding like home, feeling like home, because
Mhm,
as an artist, I identify with that same feeling when you hear certain artists, especially when your art or expression of your art does not always fit the church scene in the sense of like, we both are worship leaders, right? So we both can sing, we can do
mhm,
all the fun stuff, all the Sunday morning stuff, but our art itself is not always expressed in the same way that our other parts of our giftings are. So it's really
mhm.
funny you should say that. So that's going to be something that comes back up a little later. Um,
Yeah.
but here's a fun game I like to do. I always like to start the interview with the icebreaker and then a game. So the game is called Making Maya's Band. So I want to say like early 2000s, we had Diddy's Making the Band. If you guys remember,
Mhm.
we got Day 26 from that. We got I cannot think of the group's name right now. All I can hear is Dylan, Dylan, Dylan. But we have all these like groups that came from, and then we had with Day 26, what was the girl group? Danity Kane. So we have these groups that came
Okay.
out of the show. So the scenario is you are creating a band.
Mhm.
I need you to give me, and that they can be famous, they can be someone that's personal or like someone you know personally, or it could be and it could be someone that is dead or alive. So
Okay.
I need to know who's playing bass in Maya's band.
Ooh, who's playing bass? I have to pick one? Just one
Mhm.
person?
Yep.
Okay. Um, I'll shout out a friend, Sean Davy. He's a great bass player from the area and also a really incredible artist. I'm really, really into his
Yes.
music right now.
It's so funny. So
Yeah.
I met Sean because we share a friend. He was in a wedding. My friends that I moved in with a friend when I first moved to Maryland. He's her
Okay.
god brother. So I
Gotcha.
met Sean at her wedding, and it was crazy because we used to like basically live in the street from each other, and we've done a couple of things together. But yeah, that
Mhm.
guy's incredible, both singing, songwriting,
Yeah.
and at bass. Like he
Yeah.
plays the bass.
I love
Small
that.
world.
Yes,
Yep.
very small world. I love it. I
All
love
right.
it.
So who's playing keys for Maya Elizabeth?
Um, First person that comes to mind is Corey Henry. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm
Mm.
worthy, but he's
This your
amazing.
band. You worthy. It's your band.
All right, here we are.
Okay, so we got Sean Davy on bass. We got Corey
Uh-huh.
Henry on keys. Who's playing drums?
Drums. Ooh, that's another tough choice. However, one of my favorite drummers is a good friend of mine, Frank Fluker. Um, and if he's coming, then I need his wife Cynthia in the band as well, whether she wants to manage or sing or just be there. But I
Okay.
need them as a package. Yep.
Okay. So, well, that leads me to the next one. You have two more spots, and they are for background
Okay.
vocalists. So you
Okay.
get to choose two background vocalists. Who are they?
Two background. I don't get a guitarist?
Well, you are the guitar. Well, I guess I should ask you because it's not exactly fair. I don't know if you want to play the
Yeah.
guitar or if you want to have somebody else play guitar.
No, I actually need 2 guitarists.
Okay.
If I'm putting the band together,
Okay.
um, then I need J.R. Hairston, it's my brother, and Billy X on guitar.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
might pick up the acoustic at some point during the set.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so
And
who are
as
your
far as
backgrounds?
background vocalists,
Hmm.
ooh, I love Aston Turrentine. She actually sings background vocals on, It's Okay to Be Falling.
Okay.
She's got super buttery, just amazing
Mm,
vocals, and aside from that, is an incredible human being. I love her to death, so she's gonna be one. And then, mm, who else would sing background vocals? I don't know if I can pinpoint a person, but their sound is a cross between India.Arie and Jasmine Sullivan.
okay. I actually
Actually,
thought you would. Okay.
I'm sorry, okay.
No,
There's
go ahead.
so many people, but I think maybe Devin, my friend Devin.
That's what I thought you
Were
were
you
going to say.
as I was saying, like, a mix between India.Arie and Jasmine Sullivan, she also came to mind because she reminds me a lot. When I first we used to sing together at Zion Church at the Landover location,
Hmm.
before I ended up moving to, California. But when I first heard her voice, she was another, "Oh my god, I feel at home," type of sound,
Yes.
and we both love India.Arie, so
Hmm.
there was that
Hmm.
connection. Mhm.
Yeah, Devin is. I call her my vocal wife. I don't know that I have met anybody in this whole world whose voice meshes as well with mine as Devin's does. To the point
Mm.
of like we have never really ever practiced a song together.
Oh,
Um,
really?
even yeah. So like the first time we rehearsed a song together was I had a show in North Carolina in February, and she
Mhm.
got there a few minutes early for us to go through the song together. It was our first time performing it together, and I'm like, Devin, it's the first time we ever rehearsed like singing together. I think there was a couple of times that like we've sung together, but it's always been like impromptu and it's literally been
Mm.
like, all right, let's sing. And like our voices just they do this really cool dance. It's like we know how to like allow the other to shine or what have you. And
Yeah,
it just feels right.
I love that. I have the same sort of experience when my brother and I perform together or record together. I always think of it as, and I'll borrow this word from NDRE, but a songversation, where
Mhm.
it's like a conversation going on between what I do vocally and what he does on strings, and the compliment is just I just love it. It's
Yeah, that's
really
so dope.
it's kind of hard to like, maybe I'll send him a reference, but he could also just kind of show up, and because he's such a good listener, and I think because he knows me so well, we know each
Mhm.
other, um, there's that really, I don't know, strong creative chemistry is what I'll call it.
Mhm. I think it's really cool when an artist can find that one person specifically with instruments that
Mhm,
also have that feeling of home, and um you both know where to go for the other. Like, I'm sure your brother knows
mhm,
where to push you, and you know when to, like, maybe lean back and let him, like, fill up space so it's not, like, too
yeah,
much of you or too much of him. I think that's always beautiful. I have a cousin that I'm like that with, and, like, it's to the point it's to the point I recently sang at a funeral, and he was supposed to play, and I look back and the other guy was playing, and in my mind, because I was grieving, I was having a moment. I wanted to be like, no, get on the piano.
mhm,
The other guy was great. He was great. He was phenomenal. But I got nervous because in that moment, I needed a security blanket because I literally was
mm,
like trying to not become unraveled with emotions,
mhm.
and to, execute the task. So that's really dope. It's so dope. Well, y'all, I want to jump into the interview. So let's ask some questions. The first question I want to ask you, Maya, is what does identity mean to you?
Ooh. Identity, what does it mean to me? Identity is, having a sense of belonging, a sense of knowing who you are and being secure in your worth and your enoughness.
Mm, I love it. I love it. When did you discover your purpose?
Hmm. I let's see, I've been songwriting since I was like 6, and that always felt like a safe place for me to process and um, think through my feelings or my thoughts about different experiences. So I think I always had a sense that that was just something I wanted to do. Um, Maybe not knowing that I wanted to do that professionally, but just knowing that that was a part of how I want to exist in the world. Um, and then I would say I really dove it's been a process. I can't pinpoint one specific time period or instance where
Okay.
I'd say, like, a light came on and I was all of a sudden aware of my purpose, but I think over time, my awareness has grown, and my awareness of what that is supposed to look like has evolved as well, and I think that, I forget who said this or where I've heard it. I don't think purpose is so rigid that it means, like, you are meant to only do one particular thing or use one particular set of skills, but I think purpose is more so encompassed in that, uh, I guess that sense of your why. Why do I do these things or why do I show up this way? Why do I choose to, work on these things or why do I choose to pursue these things or these people, this relationship, anything like that? Um, so you can walk in your purpose. Um, so the being is it just shows up in several forms of doing, if that makes sense. So
Yep. Hmm.
I think somewhere around, I wanna say it was, like, somewhere between my 25th and 26th or 7th birthday, I was challenged by a friend to consider the meaning of my name, paired with my spiritual gifts, and she gave it to me as an exercise, and she's like, "Journal about it, think through it, write down a statement of who you are." So start with I am, then Maya Elizabeth, and then put together a blanket statement that um, couples, the meaning of your name with your spiritual gifts, and you'll see that there is, um, you know, congruency with between the two.
Mhm.
So around that time was when I first started like working on this I am statement. And from that point, I revisit it and I see it come up in um, how how people tell me they experience me, or my music, or so I don't think it's just with my music. I don't think it's just with my demeanor or any one particular aspect of my identity or the
Mhm.
things that I do. Um, I think, I'm still evolving that sense of purpose, but it's um I think meant to be a process.
I think what you just said was very powerful, and I believe that there are creatives who are trying to figure out who they are, and I feel
Mm,
like every creative at some point, some level, has to go through that process because s- for me, I had to make sure that I didn't get confused with what I do and who I am because they are synonymous and congruent. I really like that word, but they also are separate. So I worship God because I love
mhm,
Him. I am, and I am a worshiper. I am a worship leader,
right.
but my identity, um, ultimately for me, is at the end of the day, I'm a son or a child of God, and
Mhm,
so I think sometimes we carry on the gift and the gifting as if it is the thing that we are, and then when we can't do that thing anymore or when the time is up from doing that thing, we
mhm.
unravel because it's like, what am I supposed to do, like in times
Yep,
of quietness. I
yep.
remember before the pandemic, my mom and I had a conversation, and I had gone through some things, and I was deciding to I was being led to step away from singing for a little bit. It's specifically in the worship leader position. And I remember my mom
Mhm,
and my grandmother saying something to the effect of like, you basically, and I'm paraphrasing, they didn't say this verbatim, but like, you can't do that because this is what God has called you to do. And although I knew that, I also knew in that place, God was trying to do something in me. And what he was actually doing was a reconstruction of me. Because a lot
mhm,
of what I had gotten hung up on was, this is what I do. I've led worship before thousands of people before. I've traveled to other places to lead worship or to sing. And so it's like I've become the guy that everybody knows that sings. Like, he can sing at the drop of a dime. I'm at a birthday party, just and sing. Like, even if I don't know the person. And so sometimes um creatives start getting confused on the difference. And if you
mhm,
don't, you almost worship the gift over the gift giver. And so I
mhm.
think that activity your friend gave you to do is powerful, and I think it can be
Yeah,
used for anybody who's trying to figure it out. So kudos to your friend for challenging you in that way.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So my next question is, and I'm trying to pick the right question. Okay, I'll go with this one. So before I ask the question, she already said to you guys that she loves Indy Ari. She talked about Corinne Bailey Ray. Maya has this sultry, warm, kind of Lisa McClendon, but like smoother sound, and she plays guitar. Not sh Be careful when I say this. She reminds me of Alicia Keys, but she just has a very smooth approach, right? And so typically in Black church, if we're gonna be honest,
Mhm,
and sometimes even in all the cultural expressions of church, we expect a certain thing, a certain sound from people because they lead
mhm,
worship. So your sound, and when I say your sound, you know what I'm talking about, but I want to explain to the audience. When I say her sound, I mean like her artistry isn't necessarily Sunday morning worship. It's not like, truthfully, you can sing any of those songs during worship, but at the same time, it's not depending on the community, it may not be as
mhm,
palatable for, I'm from the South. My grandma and them like, old school hand clap the
Say
footstool
what you need to
song.
say. Mhm.
So I can't go in there all the time with chasing after you. Sometimes I got to go in there with God is a good God. So with that being said, how did you become comfortable in the space that you occupy?
Mm. It's a consistent choice. Some days I'm not. Some days some days
Okay.
I'm reminded that I don't sound like Tasha Cobbs or CeCe Winans or Ty Tribbett, and I'm not the typical gospel, sound or vibe that a lot of people are used to. But I'm also not really um, Bethel or Elevation or Amanda Cook, or I'm not really categorized in either space in terms of like head on, um, you know, description. However, um, I can flow in different environments. I've learned a lot from different environments, being immersed in different environments. And I think that's to my benefit. I think it's, almost a unique gift to be able to, in a way, it's like being all things to all people, but it's being me in any space at the same time.
Mhm.
I don't know, that might sound really contradictory, but in my head it makes sense.
No, and
So,
I think I get it too. Maybe I get it because I also feel the same way in certain instances. Like I'm not smoking nor really high. I don't
uh-huh.
always want to because it's a lot. But I'm also not a Isaiah Templeton or like I'm not a Daryl Walls. But
Mhm.
at the same time, um, I don't always identify with Bethel or Maverick City or it
Yeah.
doesn't always resonate with me in a way that makes it easy to convey the gospel from their
Mhm.
tools songs that they sing. So no, I
Right.
totally get it. I think that's so cool how you are acknowledging that it's a present ongoing thing. We are human
Mhm.
beings. We aren't at a standstill. We are ever evolving, ever changing. The Bible says us that God goes from that we go from glory to glory, from faith to faith.
Glory to
And so
glory,
to me
yeah.
that shows the evolution of even Christ in our lives. So
I
really
will
dope answer.
I will add thank you, I will add this, as I do the work on learning and embracing myself and knowing that I am enough in who I am, um, that builds the confidence that I need to accept the evidence from outside voices. So when other people tell me how they experience Maya Elizabeth and my sound and the impact it has, they're listening to my music as they're going through a rough situation, or they're encouraged by X, Y, and Z, or something that I said during a transition. All of that I track as evidence. And because I'm reshaping my core beliefs about myself, and doing that work, those confirming, you know, responses and comments just kind of they all meld together in, um, you know, reshaping that.
So dope. So dope. Yeah, I have like 1 minute left with Maya. So Maya, I'm going to ask this last question and then we'll close it out. So being a pastor's kid, did your
Mm.
parents or the church, did they put pressure on you to fit in a mold that they like imagined for you, or did they just allow you to become who you are?
That's a good question. I would say I really appreciate my parents for um, being intentional about letting us explore our gifts and being very supportive of them. So, like, I'm a musician, my brother's a professional musician. My older sister is an incredible human being, but all of my siblings are. She owns a doula business. My youngest sister has a yoga business. So they were really good about helping identify and pushing us, but also giving us the freedom to develop our gifts and to develop a multi, faceted set of gifts in each of us. So my parents, even though they planted a church and pastored a church, I don't think they ever gave us like a rigid, you must follow this type of path. In terms of the congregation, I don't know how much of um, what I might have perceived was just my perception or
Mhm.
actual pressure. Um, but I am who I am. I'm doing what I'm doing. So
That is so dope. Well, Maya, in closing, is there any last remark? Is there anything you want creatives to walk away with after watching this interview?
would say lean into knowing yourself and knowing your creator. I think knowing your creator is the best way to discover who you are, what your purpose is, how you were designed. So spend time with your creator. If you need help doing that, you should get my journal and listen to Space to Fill. Light the Space to Fill candle, set up the ambiance, take some time to quiet yourself, still yourself, ask the questions, journal through them. I think that'll be a helpful tool for anyone looking to go on that journey.
Dope. So yeah, guys, you heard her. She's got merch. She's got all those things. Maya, tell them where you can be found. Tell them your website, and tell them about the
Mhm.
most recent project that you have out.
Absolutely. So you can find me at mayaelizabethmusic.com. Maya Elizabeth Music is also my Instagram handle. Those are the best places to link with me. And then my latest single that is out is called It's Okay to Be Falling. And it's definitely an introspective um, song. Came out of my journal, as a lot of my songs do. And it is my most streamed. People have really responded well to it. I actually just re recorded that song in Spanish. So I hope to release that version soon. Um, yeah. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Shoot me a message on Instagram or through my website.
Y'all, please, please, please go hear this song. It's really, really powerful. I was listening to it, I think, on a flight. And it was funny because I was like really into it. I was like, wait a minute, I'm in the air. I might need to turn this off. I don't need to have the thought of falling while I'm flying. But no, it's really, really great,
That's
y'all.
good.
And I think you guys will love not just Maya's voice, but what she has to offer. She's an incredible human being. And I am so grateful that our paths have crossed. And thank you for being on my show tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me and for having me be a part of this conversation. I really enjoyed it.
No problem. No problem. Thank you. I'm so glad. So listen, y'all, if you are watching this and you maybe you know somebody, a creative, somebody who maybe a young person who's like trying to figure out their way and trying to figure out creativity, feel free to share this with them. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and smash that subscribe button so that you can be here for the next episode. This is season 2. This is our 3rd episode, and we have several coming. We're going into June, I believe. So I'm really, really excited. And that's it. You guys have an incredible night. And thank you again, Maya, for coming.
Thank you. Take care.